What's better than fantasy football? Kyle Fridland, Jake Fridland.
Ain't nothing better than football.
Two brothers talking about the nitty and gritty of the best sport in the world. Welcome to the Fantasy Simpletons Show! The fantasy playoffs are finally among us. A lot of eliminated teams, a lot of casualties that happened over the weekend. If you were one of those teams, I'm so sorry for you. But if you're one of the teams that survived, if you're one of the teams that's finally in it, in the all-for-one, one-for-all battle royale for the championship of your fantasy league, we got you covered. Last week, we already talked about possible league winners, guys that you can rely on or really take advantage of going into the fantasy postseason. Well, this week we want to talk about the opposite. It's time to get negative. Some league losers.
Whew. Yeah, it's time to get dirty. Time to get into the players that, come on, let's be honest. We all have known for at least a few weeks now that you probably shouldn't be starting these guys, but it's just kind of hard not to. You know, this is the playoffs, guys.
Yeah.
It's time to get down to business.
Get down to business.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be covering over a number of these guys. If you have any other guys that you're worried about or you feel like we missed, let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's get started here. Let's start with a quarterback. I think this is the best example of a quarterback that you should avoid playing here. Baker Mayfield. And the reason I bring up Baker Mayfield is, unless you're a Baker owner, you may not have been following as much of what he's been doing as of late, but this team is a far cry from when he was getting MVP chance early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense has fully stifled last season injuries didn't really bug the team before. Baker Mayfield was still, a pass-happy demon and they were still scoring points. This season, I don't know if it was the injuries or not, but something has affected this team because everything is off in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield looks so off. He's not nearly as accurate on his throws. He looks like he's easily more scatterbrained by the defenses, getting into his heads. And they've gone on a losing streak here.
Yeah. No, he's definitely not looking like the Baker that we all know and love. It is tough. It is tough because I have Baker in a league or two, and he's just considerably getting more and more questionable in the fact that maybe I shouldn't start him this week.
Yeah.
It's definitely matchup dependent, and I don't know, it just things have really been thrown off, and it sucks. Even when Bucky came back, I was like, ooh, this could be better. Bucky's a pass catching guy, but yeah, it's tough. It's kind of like the Lamar Jack. He's kind of like Lamar Jackson. I don't know. Maybe he just feels that there's just so much pressure on Baker to make it work, and it's just crumbling a little bit. So yeah, he's definitely just tough to start.
That's a good point. I really like that, though, that he is kind of, you could say this about a lot of quarterbacks, but he really is, if he's not performing on all cylinders, this team is going to struggle. Let me show you the last 4 games that he had played. He has not had a game with 200 yards passing 4 straight games, has not had a game with more than 1 passing touchdown in 4 straight games. One of those against the Rams, he threw for, 41 yards? Only 41 yards the whole game. I know he got hurt in that game, but still, nonetheless, it was just some really rough, embarrassing performances. And if you look into the playoffs, the matchups don't get better. The Falcons are still hit or miss, but they still have a pretty solid pass defense. The Panthers are probably one of the better defenses in the league right now. They are shutting down teams.
Yeah.
Even the Dolphins aren't that bad. They've gotten a lot better over these last few weeks. So this is not even a favorable matchup when you see all these put together. I don't know, man. It's I think it gets a little bit more worrying, especially that they're just on this bad losing streak at the same time when the Panthers are right on their tails. The
Mm,
Panthers somehow have put themselves in a position, despite the incredibly up and down season they've had, they are one game out from winning this division.
oof.
And they face the Bucks, I believe, twice. The first time in Week 16, and then in Week 18 in the final game of the season. I
Dang.
think they have the upper hand. They've got the momentum on their side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's crazy to think. Yeah, because this time last year we would not have uttered the words that we're uttering.
No.
Um, yeah, yeah. The Panthers are just looking really good, and yeah, all of these matchups against the Bucks. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough. Even the Dolphins. Um, their defense isn't that bad, and they held Tyrod Taylor this last week to like I think he got one fantasy point or something. They looked bad, the
and
Jets.
then
So
he got hurt, which is the most Tyrod Taylor thing he can do
mm,
is just get hurt.
yeah. Uh, so
Maybe it's not all on Baker Mayfield's shoulders. I mean, maybe in some cases it's on the receivers. Maybe there's a bit of both, which brings us right into our next guy that we're going
mm,
to talk about, Emeka Egbuka. And I really didn't want to do this.
mhm.
I think a lot of people who were so high on him early in the season and saw how good he was performing the first 5 or 6 weeks in the year, everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is a superstar receiver. This guy's going to be a top 10 guy for years. He's going to be one of like the it players.
Yeah.
Let me read you off what he's been doing of the last few weeks here,
Were you
statistically. Let me get to this here.
his with the
Outside of one good game against the Patriots, let me show you some of this. This is his target. This is the catches versus the targets that he has. Um, 2 for 4, 4 for 12, 3 for 9, 6 for 13, 5 for 9, 3 for 8, 4 for 8, 2 for 9.
mm,
That's not good. That
no.
is, you're catching less than 50% of the passes thrown to you. No great receiver has that kind of stat line. It's happening consistently week to week. S-
Eesh.
Sometimes it's on Baker's throws not being quite there, but
Yeah.
sometimes Egbuka's just not catching the ball. He's
Dude,
just
he's
not.
throwing up. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say he's throwing up Troy Franklin numbers up here, man. Like that is just and we can't compare Emeka to Troy, but yeah, statistically, that's what's been happening. Not
I,
good.
it was always worrying to me at the start because I always took I watched very carefully what Egbuka's numbers were because when everybody was raving and talking about him, I looked at his numbers and I thought he wasn't getting too many targets week to week. He was limited to about somewhere between 3 to 5 targets a game, and he
Mm,
was only being targeted in like critical situations. And he was getting touchdowns. That was another big one. He kept getting a lot of touchdowns early in the season, which padded up his stats more and made people think he was even better. But I kept thinking, if you take the touchdowns away from some of these games, these aren't great numbers.
yeah.
And now he's being put in a position with the Godwin injury, with the Evans injury. He's been put in that position of, you got to be the guy now. And I don't know, maybe he just, their chemistry is off with Baker. Maybe he wasn't ready to be that guy quite yet. But
Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot, you know, uh, with new guys that come in, it's tough for defenses to really figure them out unless they play enough games. And at least at first, Emeka wasn't really viewed as like that guy. He was. I just think that more defenses are kind of figuring out that he is, their number one guy that they have been going to, and they can match him up with the best defenders.
yeah,
Sometimes that's all it takes to kind of shut down guys. But yeah, it's tough, especially going in the playoffs when all these defenses are going to try to be on their A game. He could get shut down, or if him and Baker are not on the same page, right? Um, for whatever reason, it's
They
going to be
could
tough.
they could miss the playoffs.
They could.
That's what this is all about right now. They could fully miss the playoffs entirely. Of the last 8 games that Egbuka has played, 7 of them he hasn't gone above 58 receiving yards.
Mm.
And if you just look at that as its own stat, that's 58 receiving yards. That's 5.8 points. If you're doing PPR, let's say he gets 4 catches on that. That's at best, without a touchdown, 9 points a game. And that's on the generous side.
Mm-hmm.
He's been averaging about 6 to 7, 8 points a game. That's just not good enough.
No.
And I don't know. If you're in a position where you have to play him,
Right.
I pity you, because I might be in that same position.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have great wide receiver depth. I don't have great wide receiver depth. But now I have to consider, am I playing Egbuka or Jaden Higgins
Mm-hmm.
in a couple weeks' time? And I don't know if I can make that choice.
It's a tough one, man. It really is tough. I mean, at that point, it's a dart throw on either one of those guys to put up numbers. But
Yeah.
yeah, you really just have to weigh your options here.
I wouldn't play
I
him
don't
against the
know.
Panthers at all, though.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I don't see it.
No, exactly. You got to look at the defenses. Look at what, past teams in the last few weeks have done. The Seahawks played the Falcons, and I mean, JSN went off. Cooper Kupp did pretty well. So I could see something maybe happening this week with Embuka. If they're really trying to make that push. But it does depend on who you have. If you have more favorable matchups with some guys, if you have contending wide receivers, I don't know.
I'll end it off on this. There was one play when watching that Saints game where they lost to the Saints. Egbuka had a wide open touchdown. Wide open. There was no one else around him. It was an easy grab, 20, 30 yards in the end zone. It was a team effort because Baker didn't hit him with the most perfect throw, and Egbuka couldn't make the catch. They're just both off. Their chemistry's off. Their passing game is off. And I wouldn't trust that going any further if I were in their position.
Yeah.
You want to move on to a running back, Jake?
Let's do it.
Oh, man. We've talked quite a bit about this guy. We love this guy. Ashton Jeanty. Every time, what was it? We started off the season not very high on him, and then we started again a little higher, and then it just came crashing back down again.
Yeah.
I thought after they fired Chip Kelly that maybe there might be a small spark on offense, because that happens sometimes with bad teams.
Sure.
Hasn't happened. This team is terrible. This offense is still. This might be. I want to see them versus the Titans, because they're both the contenders for the worst offenses in the NFL.
I think the Titans are better. I think the Titans are better. I mean, in the games, in the couple or few games, the Titans have actually looked decent. I'd say that they might look a little bit better, but that's just me. It is so tough. And they have Jeanty, and Jeanty just, I don't know. I don't think he's also doing what they were thinking he was going to do.
Yeah.
He's just not working that well in their offense. He's putting in the carries. He's getting the carries. Remember we were talking about that. We're like, this guy just needs the carries, and he's getting them. Maybe he'll do something. It's just not working.
Yeah.
Something's not working.
I mean, but sometimes he gets the carries, sometimes he doesn't. It's still a little weird. There are still matchups. It's always against the teams where we think he's going to do well, where they rely on him the least. Look at the game against the Cowboys, where everybody thought, oh, what a surefire. This is going to be an easy start for Jeanty. 6 carries for 7 yards. He got 6 carries for 7. And then he got 6 catches. Sure, 6 catches. they're using him more in the pass game. That's like the only possible upside to this. That's the only reason that his stat lines are still looking somewhat okay.
Yeah.
But the offensive line is completely dead. It's fallen apart. Geno Smith has fallen apart. They can't rely on any of their receivers outside of Bowers. It's the worst. I hate I hate doing this to Pete Carroll, but I hate watching the Raiders. I've had to watch them too many times this season, and I hate watching this football team because their drives die in the same way every single time.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I'm gonna say it now. It's probably been said almost this whole season, but Geno Smith is washed. Okay,
In this setup, he's
yeah,
definitely washed.
that's not super related to Ashton Jeanty, but it just, it could help him get down to the goal line so Jeanty could get some touchdowns, but they just can't do that. They can't do that. Just like the Titans, they just can't do that. Um, it sucks. It sucks, and it sucks for Jeanty,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
it's just statistically it's not great, and
no.
they still don't really know with Chip Kelly gone. They still don't really know what they're doing. They still don't
Mm.
really know how they want to run this offense, how they want to try to win week to week. They just took Geno Smith out of the last game. They put Kenny Pickett in. I don't know if this means they're going to go with Kenny Pickett the rest of the season, but if you're just going by matchups, these aren't encouraging. He's got the Eagles coming up next week. That's not great. He's got the Texans. That's definitely not great.
No.
It all is just pointing to the signs of Jeanty is still a great talent, but this team is letting him down. And you kind of wish, man, if only he ended up on a team like the Broncos. If only he ended up on a team like the Chargers. Team with more support, with more of a system, more in place to like help bring him up and make him as good of a player as we know him to be. Because he has to do too much when he's given the ball, and he just can't do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Man, dude,
Exactly
that was a powerful sigh. You sighed like you're at a funeral.
it. Well, I don't know, man. It just sucks when you get these guys, and it always happens.
Yeah.
When guys like this are drafted to bad teams, Marvin Harrison, Ashton Jeanty, and then you're like halfway into the season, and you're like, are these guys bad or is it their team? You know what I mean? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening here, and what does this mean moving forward? So, at least for the rest of the season, I think we're both saying the same thing. You got to just watch Ashton Jeanty. I wouldn't start him. You know,
Yeah. Don't be
I would
surprised.
stream certain people probably over Ashton.
I would try to find certain people. It's tougher now, but like you see some guys like, hey, Ollie Gordon. Devon Achane might have gotten hurt. Try to see if you can get Ollie Gordon. If he plays this week,
Yeah,
that's like a must get.
Jalen Wright.
Even now, waiver wire is very important.
Hmm. It is,
No,
yeah.
expect a full reset at the end of the season. I think there's a full reset starting out again for the Raiders.
Mm, yeah,
But we
I
move
could see
on
it.
to another receiver here, and everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody
JJ,
knows.
J Jetties.
Jettas. Everybody has seen the decline in his production. Everybody's not in his play. Let's make it important. Not in his play, in his production. With everything centered around
Okay.
JJ McCarthy, around this passing offense. This last game, on paper, you see 31 to nothing. You see 3 touchdowns from JJ McCarthy, and you think,
Yeah.
oh, maybe Justin Jefferson, maybe he finally had a really good game. He had 2 for 11. The offense is just not gonna. He's not gonna be involved with that guy at center.
No.
I don't understand why. I don't fully understand like why you do not target your best player. Clearly in that game, I guess they didn't need to. It was working out fine.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison had an okay day. It was 4 receptions, 62 yards, but I, maybe he just spread the ball around. I don't know. It's JJ is not great at throwing the ball short, medium, intermediate, or long. And Justin Jefferson has shown his displeasure. He has shown that he visibly gets frustrated by it. Enjoy the win while you can, guys, but Justin Jefferson, he's just amazingly just not playable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They they do. I think they do need to work him in more to the scheme. Like, um, is it JJ McCarthy just not wanting to go to him, or is it? I don't know what is going there, but I mean, when you have a guy with debatably the best hands in the game, he has to have a big target share.
Yeah.
Um,
Debatably one of the best all-around receivers in the entire league. Like everybody's like, if I'm starting a team from scratch, I want that guy because he has everything. He has
yeah.
everything you want from a star wide receiver.
But see, for me, that's why I think any game could be the game that they start changing their mind. The coaches start flipping the script, going more to JJ again
Yeah,
as Justin Jefferson.
you could say that, but it's just going off of history.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
hasn't had anything with JJ McCarthy in all the games he's played with him.
Yes.
The
Yeah, and
most I
that's the
remember him
difference.
having was like one game where he had over 50 yards and a touchdown. That's it. That's really
Right.
it. There's nothing else that's really like concrete, like, okay, I can fall back on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I look at the matchups, when I look at the season schedule, it's almost in one ear, out the other.
Mm.
I don't care what his schedule is going into the next season. I don't care he's facing Dallas this week. They've had one of the easiest schedules in the second half of the season overall. They've always been having easy matchups, and yet he's not producing against any of them.
Yeah.
Last week against the Commanders should have been the game where he popped off, if that was the game. That's one of the
Should have
worst
been.
pass defenses in the league.
Yes.
And they embarrassed him. They smoked him, and he still didn't get used.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just so tough.
Yeah.
It's so tough. Um.
It just
Yeah.
this is just depends on if you want to die on that hill. If you're just a stubborn Justin Jefferson owner and you're like, "No, this is my guy. I drafted him first round. I'm sticking with him till the end." Well, then you be prepared to fall on the sword.
Hmm. All right, Cal. Let me hit you with this.
Hit me with it.
Emeka Egbuka or Justin Jefferson this week. Who would you play?
Oh, that's horrible. That's a horrible decision.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Can't play
I
both.
would go with Egbuka.
Hmm.
At least Egbuka might have looked a little different if he caught that wide open touchdown pass. At least he
Yeah.
gets targeted like a number
Right.
one receiver.
That's true.
He still gets targeted 8 to 10 times a game. So at least I can rely on that and think, okay,
Hmm.
maybe I might get something out of it just because he's getting those opportunities.
Yeah. That's the difference.
Justin Jefferson, he's not even getting targeted that much. It's not necessarily like, oh, he's being thrown 8 times a game, but JJ McCarthy can't hit a throw. It's no, he's not even being a factor in the offense now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No,
We,
I'm with you.
yeah,
I'm with you.
just be prepared with Justin Jefferson, man. I got out of that when I had the chance. I traded for Nico Collins. I would have recommended in those weeks that you would have done the same as well. If you're stuck with him now, just try to see what you have on the waiver wire. There's always guys on the bench or on the waiver wire where you look at those names and you're like, but they're not nearly as big as names as Justin Jefferson. Look at the stats. Don't look at name value. Don't look at the brand. Look at statistically who has been better and play off of that.
Facts.
And how about tight end? It actually was kind of difficult to put together what's a tight end that could really fall down late in the season,
Mhm.
but I think we pinned one here. Oronde Gadsden.
Mm.
And this is unfortunate because I love Oronde Gadsden.
Oh yeah.
And it was super cool to see the rise out of nowhere. But what we've seen the last few weeks with him is ever since he came back from that injury, this team has gone a lot more spread the ball around with all their weapons, and he's been kind of taken out of games.
Mm-hmm.
He's been putting up like very low numbers, only around 1 to 3 catches a game, not a huge amount of yardage, even though he gets a lot of yards after catches. But it's just the lack of usage over the last few weeks. And you combine that with how this offense is now becoming set up. They want to, I think when Amarian Hampton comes back, they want to focus more on the run and use him in the pass game again. Try to change up their offense a little bit because, they have Joe Alt down and their offensive line is weakened. So they need to change up their game plan a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Gadsden, they're using McConkey a little bit more.
Yeah.
And they really are just throwing the ball around. We were talking about this before the episode, but honestly, all of the wide receivers have kind of taken a hit. There's not one particular guy getting more work than any others. I mean, maybe McConkey.
McConkey does
Sometimes
get enough.
Keenan Allen, but it's like game to game, it really could switch. It really could switch around. So
Yeah. It also doesn't help with some of the other factors like Justin Herbert. Now he's hurt. We don't know necessarily. I think he's going to be fine for rest of season, but for right now, it's just sort of, okay, if he's hurt, does that affect his performance? Does that make it tougher for him to throw the ball?
right.
Yeah. The only week I could see is week 16 against Dallas. That's the only week where I'm like, okay, I could convince myself to start Gadsden in that game because it's Dallas. Simply because of that fact. That's the only matchup where I'm like, I would consider it. The other two, if he goes up against the Chiefs, if he goes up against the Texans, no chance.
Yeah.
I will look. No. There's always a good tight end on the waiver wire. There's always somebody that's got a decent tight end on their bench.
Exactly.
Yeah. There are other options I can go to. The tight end market's a little different right now. If you're not satisfying my needs, man, I got others. I got a lot to go to.
Oh yeah. No, there's always a handful of tight ends on the waiver wire. And a couple of them usually pop off. When they're just sitting there till someone picks them up. So, yeah, definitely look for that. I mean, think about it. Gadsden was picked up off the wire earlier this season.
Yeah.
There's always tight ends. So
he's incredibly talented, and I'm super excited for him, like future wise, because I think he could be a really great player. He's shown what he can do. But just for right now, for where this is situated, for how this offense is starting to move going into the end of this season, I would pull back. I would hold off, and I'd rely on other people rest of season if I can.
Yeah, definitely.
We've only got a couple names left, Jake. How about our guy, ya boy, Kenneth Walker? Hey. People are still in positions where they have to start Kenneth Walker. He's still started in about 2/3 of leagues. Not owned, started. Because the running back market's real, man. Everybody needs one. Everybody always wants more. The demand is always there. Unfortunately for Kenneth, it's kind of been the same story it's been all year. He doesn't get touchdowns. He gets the hard work. He does all the work and gets none of the reward. Yeah. That's kind of how he's been all season. And it doesn't really help that some of these matchups, some could be okay, but generally these matchups aren't good for him going into the rest of season anyways.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It, as a Seahawk fan, it hurts, bro. I'm not tearing up, Kyle. You're tearing up, okay? No, I'm joking.
All right.
um, no, it just, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and it's been tough really this whole season. Okay. Uh, when you have Sharp in there, I do think Kenneth is better than Sharp. You know, that's been the case for uh probably the last 5-6 games.
Yeah.
He's getting more work than Sharp. And we've seen him at the goal line a couple times. You know, but still, uh, it is like up in the air. I feel like sometimes. Sometimes I just don't. When I'm watching the game, I'm like, wait, why is Sharp in for this play and Kenneth's not in? You know, but then Kenneth gets in and he doesn't do much. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh well, that's why Sharp should be in. But then Sharp gets in and he doesn't do much.
I mean, to be honest,
I
our
don't know.
our run game has never been that good this season.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Our run game, the way our offense has always been designed is it kind of doesn't matter how well our run game does because it's just being used to set up for the pass.
Hmm.
We're the most like play action heavy team in the league, so our offense when it on its best, it was doing well without a great run game. There are games where Kenneth Walker does pretty good. There are games where Zach Charbonnet makes a play or two where I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay, Charbonnet. But for the most part, yeah, we're just kind of bland.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Exactly.
bland. They still have to fight for yards because our offensive line is better, but still not amazing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I don't see that really changing.
Yeah, they're lower end flex value players,
Yeah,
you know, and I think Kenneth is a little bit higher than Sharp, but
if you managed to go
that's
this far with Kenneth Walker, good on you. But if you got this far with Kenneth Walker, it's time to cut the cord.
yeah.
Yeah. Nothing against you, Kenneth. Uh, we'll see if you sign back with us at the end of the season.
Exactly.
I'm actually very curious to see what we'll do at running back at the end of this
Oh
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. No, it should be interesting.
And let's end this off with the biggest superstar in all of the NFL right now, Mr. Troy Franklin.
Woo. Bet you didn't think he was gonna be on this list.
Yeah, bet you didn't.
Anybody watching?
What? Everybody's so
What?
shocked. No, it's
Yeah.
if I could find a way to explain how on earth I decided to put him on this list.
Mhm.
We all know Troy Franklin. We all know his connection with Bo Nix. We've all talked
Yeah.
about the fact that he gets a lot of targets, but he's not super productive on the targets he gets.
Mhm.
But that was always the thing that held him up. It's like, hey, you might play him because he's got a lot of targets.
Yes.
But there is actually an interesting trend the last couple of weeks. Ever since the bye happened, um, the targets have gone down in the last two games specifically, even in good matchups against the Commanders and the Raiders.
Yeah.
Uh, he got 3 targets in the Commanders game and 4 targets in the Raiders game, which is tied for the lowest targets that he's had this season.
Mhm.
So maybe they looked over things in the bye week and they changed up some strategy. They changed
They
the game
realize
plan.
what they should be doing,
They realized
right?
that maybe this is just not the most efficient model right now,
Yeah.
and that Bo Nix should be spreading the ball around a little bit more again.
Sure. Also, going to Cortland Sutton a little bit more,
A little
which
bit
I
more,
guess, yeah, is spreading the ball, but
which he should
um,
do.
which he should do, and you know, it's been working for them. They've been winning, and
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I think it makes sense though. Well, let's be real.
I think they've been winning regardless. I think
Yeah.
that there is a team every season where you watch them and you're like, you probably shouldn't have won this many games, but you somehow did.
Yeah.
And it's now like, but
It's definitely the
but I'm
Broncos.
glad it's not something where the ego's strong enough to where it's like, oh, we're perfect. We're doing
Mm,
everything just right. We can keep it exactly the way. No, they're not stupid. Sean Payton may have an ego, but he's not an idiot. He knows when something's not working, and he needs to
yeah.
move it a certain direction to make it work a little better.
Yeah, and I respect them for that. But yeah, just it seems like going into the playoffs, they are doing what they should be doing, using Cortland Sutton more. So he's now kind of jumped into that wide receiver one role, which we thought Troy Franklin might have been, ramping up to. And just in terms of targets, now it's kind of settled down a little bit. And he's looking more like the wide receiver 2, 3. I mean, he's definitely behind Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mims isn't doing anything
Pat
at
Bryant's
all.
starting to make more plays.
Pat Bryant is actually starting to make more plays. So, um, yeah, I don't know. He's a risky guy, and
Yeah.
he's always been kind of risky, but especially now with the trend in targets. So
Yeah, I know he
lack
doesn't
of
quite
targets.
stand out as much as, some of the other receivers we talked about, like Egbuka or Justin Jefferson, for example. But I
Hmm.
think it's fair to put that like nice stamp of approval of just being like this avoid this guy now.
Yeah.
Do not try to play him now. It was barely working before. It's not really going to work now.
Hmm.
And that's the end of the guys here. But actually, before we leave off, here's a couple tips that I could give on
Dude,
the end of season. One thing I
sleeping.
think that people should really focus in on right now, look at the weather forecast before games. We're in
Ooh.
December now, dude. What did we see last week? A lot of rainy games, some snow games.
Yeah.
You got to know this stuff before the weeks. There's a whole website dedicated to it that is all about
Mm.
checking in. I can't remember the exact name right now, but
Oh, come on.
it's
It is
it's
with
an
it.
NFL game weather app.
Okay, yeah.
Look
I'm sure
up
there's a lot of
NFL.
those.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a couple of them, but one like stands out in particular, and it tells you where it's going to be for each matchup. Is there going to be a dome? Is there not going to be a dome? What the weather's going to
Dang.
be? What the wind situation is?
Hmm.
Look over those games. Most of the time, you won't need it, but if it's going to be like a really rainy game or a snow game, you gotta let that stuff know, especially for wide receivers,
Mm.
for quarterbacks. It can greatly affect the use of running backs. Running backs can start being
Yeah,
a lot more highly used in certain matchups.
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
keep track of that.
Yeah.
Like for example, Broncos. Uh, it seems like they want to use RJ Harvey a little bit more. I'm seeing over the last couple of weeks. What if they run into a game where it gets really wet, it gets really rainy, or they go up to Green Bay and it starts snowing? Who are they going to rely on that situation? They're going to go to RJ Harvey.
Yeah. It's obvious. It dude, I will say though, I mean, in very rare cases does it work out for quarterbacks and wide receivers in snowy and raining games.
Yeah,
Uh,
unless you're
but
Shador.
I was about to say, I was kind of surprised that dude, Shador killed it. What, like 3 touchdowns?
Oh, dude,
Come
it was
on.
crazy. I kept thinking, oh man, this is the Judkins game, and
Oh yeah,
they didn't even
100%.
really use him. The run game didn't actually really work for some reason.
Yeah.
Shador
And I
was
was
too good at passing.
no, dude, for real. I feel like it's the way he passes because they're kind of just like little soft balls where maybe he throws it up
and
and it just glides into the hands. But
then you have Kevin Stefanski on the sideline plotting his downfall,
yeah,
being like, all right, we're down by 2. We're going for a 2-point conversion. Let's
dude,
take Shador off the
that's
field. Let's run
that's
this
so ridiculous.
let's run this disastrous trick play that didn't work.
So dumb.
That the players barely knew what they were doing. It was completely fumbled and botched in every single possible way.
Honestly though, I think he was saving Shadur. I think he was like, all right, this is not going to be on Shadur. This is his day, his greatest day with this team.
That would be
And
the
it
biggest
was.
shock of all time if Kevin Stefanski was actually a double agent and he was
Mm,
actually the one protecting Shador this entire time.
yeah. We should do a whole episode on Shadur, bro, because we always have a lot to say.
Kev- at the end of the season, Kevin Stefanski he gets fired and he's like, "I did this for you, Shador. Now go out there and make this team a real winner again."
Oh my gosh.
All
Could you
right.
imagine?
We'll save it for the Shador Sanders podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Anyone that has watched through it. If you haven't seen, we also did a video on league winners. We did it last week. It is still on our YouTube channel. We talk about guys you want to have going into the fantasy postseason. I'll make sure to link that video at the very end of this one. But Jake, anything you want to say before we go off the air? Oh yeah, follow us down below in any of those specific things right there.
Yes. Yeah, good call. Good call. No, I mean, anyone listening this far, you guys want to listen to us, all right? We have not missed one single prediction this season.
Not one.
Literally not one.
We have a 100% win rate, which some people say is statistically impossible, but they haven't met us.
If you can find one, if you guys could find one thing that we did not get correct,
Jake will pay you money.
Listen,
an undisclosed sum of money.
Comment below one thing you could find that we did not get correct, and we will we'll comment back and say,
yeah,
you're right. All right.
If you leave a comment down below and you tell us exactly just one thing we did wrong, we will block you.
Yeah. But check it out. Check it out. If every one of you that watches this episode comments down one thing that we did wrong, that would actually really help our podcast, and we'd appreciate you guys. So
yeah, that'd actually be really good. It'd send us out to more people. We'd get more impressions. Statistically, that's a gold mine. YouTube loves that.
Do that.
So do that. If you're angry, just let us know by just never stopping commenting. Yeah, separate comments too.
Exactly.
That's very specific. Separate comments.
If you could, yes, separate comments. Thank you.
In a complex fantasy world, just remember to stay simple. God bless everybody.
God bless. Thank you.